Win or go home is the theme today for the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers as they host the Indonesia Warriors, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. This is the ABL on Supersports. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Singapore Indoor Stadium. Alongside Chuck Schreiner, I'm Sean Farquhar. For the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers, they must win tonight to have any hopes of qualifying for the postseason. With a win, they must also hope that the Sports Rep Thailand Slammers tomorrow in Bangkok lose to the Saigon Heat. And Chuck, for the Slingers to keep their playoff hopes alive, they've got to beat a team tonight in Indonesia they've lost to all 3 times this season.
They've had no luck against this team from Indonesia, and last time in particular must have been a sour pill for them to swallow, getting beat by 25 points. Sean only scoring 39 points, admittedly away from their home, but it's been the same at home. They've lost by 12 and 13 points, and averaging over 16-point beatdown in the 3 games that they've played. 39
points, the lowest total of any team this season in a single game in the ABL. Let's recap what has happened over the past week in the ABL. We are at the tail end of the regular season, folks. The Indonesia Warriors, an absolute beatdown, as mentioned, Chuck, over Singapore in Jakarta. The San Miguel Beermen winning their 15th straight game, and they go into the postseason #1 and red hot over the Thailand Slammers 76-69, and the Westport Malaysia Dragons 93-84 winners over the Saigon Heat. They are locked into the #3 spot, and they will meet the Indonesia Warriors. As we look here at the ABL standings, Slammers and Slingers tied with 7 wins and 14 losses. The only way the Slingers get into the playoffs, win tonight, and Thailand loses tomorrow. A win for the Slingers and a win for the Slammers puts Thailand into the postseason. Losses for the both teams send Thailand through into the playoffs. A very difficult task for Neo Beng Seong. He has got to get this team out of an offensive funk.
Well, it's been an offensive funk, particularly the last few games, but Sean, all through the season they've had problems shooting from the outside perimeter, 28, 27%. This is happening with an alarming regularity so far. Not getting much production from the 1, 2, and 3 players. That's hurt them, and the other teams, what they do, slough up on the 1, 2s, and 3s, drop down, and guard the 4, 5. Sometimes it seems like Singapore is playing with 2 men against 5.
On the sidelines today is Michelle Holland. Let's go over to her with more on tonight's game.
Thank you, Sean. Well, it has definitely come down to the wire for a playoff spot. Both the Singapore Slingers and the Thailand Slammers, both are still tied in the table and both have 1 game left to play in regular season. For the Slingers, that game is tonight against a team they lost to on Friday, the defending champions, the Indonesia Warriors. Now, it'll be interesting to see how Todd Purvis, the head coach of the Warriors, approaches tonight's game. Even though they have secured themselves a playoff spot already, he did say of his team's performance on Friday night that they played with energy and defensive intensity, meaning there was literally no let-up at all for an already struggling Slingers side. Now, if you look at the numbers, the Slingers only managed a 26% shooting average, as well as only 17 turnovers. With numbers like that, if we see a repeat performance tonight, well, that's not going to cut it, is it, Sean?
Not at all, Michelle. And you were talking about Todd Purvis. Chuck, you spoke with the coach of the Indonesia Warriors before the game. Doesn't sound like he's going to take his foot off the gas.
Not at all. I mentioned the fact that this wasn't really that big of a game for him, but he begged to differ. He says, no, we need to keep the intensity up. We know what we're getting in the playoffs already. Malaysia is a tough team, much improved, and they're going to give them a stern test. They want to replicate what they did to Singapore at their place and see if that sort of defensive intensity translates on the road.
Todd Purvis led the Indonesia Warriors to the ABL title a season ago. They're talking with his best player, Stan Pringle, coming back from injury that kept him out for over 3 months, and he's been averaging 16 points over his last 3.
Certainly has, and there's a lot of attention given to his offensive skills. I talked to Coach about it. Mr. Purvis said, yeah, but he's also a very, very good defender, and they plan to use him a lot, especially when they get into their trap-style defense at half court. We'll see if they go to that. They did an excellent job of routing out the Singapore defenders on defense, in particular on the wing, Sean. And they're going to see if they can replicate that same thing here again tonight at the indoor stadium.
Todd Purvis, since Stan Pringle has come back, has gone to a 3-guard lineup for Neo Beng Seong. Changes in the starting lineup He's got to do something to turn this thing around, and he's only got 40 minutes to do it.
Well, we saw one thing that he did is he inserted Philip Morrison at the small forward position. That might help a little bit offensively. However, Morrison, not the quickest and that most athletic guy on the team. They need somebody that can slash and burn and get to the basket. So far this season, Singapore has not had the answer to that. And remember, we talked about the defensive intensity of Indonesia. They are expert in not letting anything get inside. They will try to do the same thing tonight. We'll have to wait and see if the plan for Coach Neo using Morrison at that 3 position will pay off any at all.
Morrison, the only starter in double figures in the loss to Indonesia at Mahaka Square on Friday night. Wong Wei Long in the starting lineup today. He has been in and out. Studies keeping him from attending road games, so it's been difficult for him to get into rhythm. Philip Morrison, the only pure scorer really on this team.
Yeah, he led the team in scoring the other night. That horrible effort against Indonesia. Had double figures. He's the only Singaporean in double figures. He had 10. Besides that, it was pretty much, a very, very disappointing game for Coach Neo, as he mentioned that only one guy in double figures, a lot of guys out there just playing pad roam stats.
Starting lineup for Neo Beng Siong, as mentioned, Wong Wei Long in the backcourt with Mitchell Folkoff. He slides Philip Morrison to the small forward spot. So an undersized team, Rashad Jones-Jennings, one of the better rebounders in the league at the power forward spot, and Rashad Singleton, 6 points and 9 rebounds. They need more of an offensive contribution from him tonight.
That's right. When you have both your bigs in single figures, even though Jones-Jennings has normal huge game rebounding, they've got to get both those guys. In fact, all 3 of them in double figures would help tonight for Singapore.
For Todd Purvis, Mario Wasong, one of the best three-point shooters in the league, however, has gone cold of late. He gets the start alongside Stan Pringle, arguably the best player in the ABL. Steve Demon-Thomas at the center spot led the league in rebounding a season ago. Chris Daniels, one of the better defenders we have seen in the ASEAN Basketball League. John Smith at the small forward spot. Todd Purvis, as mentioned, going with a 3-guard lineup.
Yeah, Coach Purvis was singing the song of admiration to Smith. What a job he has done. Stepping in and filling in the position when they needed him when Pringle was out.
There's Rashad Singleton. He and the Slingers in an elimination game, and we'll have it for you when we come back on Super Sports. Back here at the Singapore Stadium where we are live, and just before the set at the start of this elimination game between the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers and the Indonesia Warriors. A frustrating season for Singapore has come down to this, Chuck. A win to have any hope of going into the postseason, and then they need help from the Saigon Heat in 24 hours.
Yeah, and he's got to rally the troops. They just didn't look like they were in sync at all last game. In fact, the last 2 or 3 games. Hark back to the game against the Slammers, Sean, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when they were literally run off their own court, got beat by 26 points. That is a dose that they have never really recovered from. Keeping that up, scoring only 39 points in their last foray away from home. So they've got a lot to do and really no time to do it in. So you got to wish them luck, but at the same time, their backs are against the wall right now, and I'm sure they know it.
For the Indonesia Warriors, very little at stake in this game. Their playoff seeding is already decided. They go in as the number 2. They will host the Westport Malaysia Dragons in the playoff semifinal. That would start May 24th in Jakarta. But as we mentioned to open the show, Todd Purvis wants to keep the defensive intensity there.
Yeah, that's his objective for tonight. He doesn't want to let up at all. And, and we mentioned it to him, look, this game means nothing for you. And he sort of smiles and says, oh, yes, it does. I beg to differ with you. So on one hand, you got a team trying to survive. And on the other hand, you got the team Indonesia that's trying to make a place for themselves. When they go into a Malaysian team that, frankly, Sean, has given them a lot of trouble lately.
Dropping 2 consecutive to Malaysia, in fact. Keep an eye on Philip Morrison wearing the face guard today. He is at the small forward spot. Nyo Beng Siang, it is desperation time, so he is trying something new for tonight's game. And off the tip, it goes out of bounds and will be Indonesia to inbound. John Smith on the side for the Warriors. Into the hands of Stan Pringle, who is primary player in leading Indonesia to the title a season ago. Daniels, entry pass, double team onto Thomas, and a loose ball. And Phil Morrison coming up with it. He's got Volkov on the wing. Morrison driving, and too much off the window. Now Pringle, so fast in the open floor, blowing pass, and then the block from Singleton.
Great job by Singleton to trail that play. Never gave up, cut the angle, forcing Pringle to take the obtuse angled shot. Nice job by Singapore. Good intensity for them the first couple minutes of the game so far.
Slingers trying to operate in the half court. Tapped out by Daniels. Daniels swings at Pringle. Turnaround inside and off the glass for the early deuce.
Yeah, a little 180 spin move by Pringle. Watching Singleton just breeze right by him.
Turnovers in the loss to Indonesia on Friday, killing the Slingers. They already have one here. John Smith matched up with Morrison. Wong for 3, and it rims out.
And again, a scene that has been very, very familiar for the singles. The guards passing the ball and taking no cuts towards the basket. Long way long, that same sort of predictable movement again.
Off the screen, Pringle has hit his first 2 shots.
Got to get a hand face to Pringle. He can do it for you. Inside and outside, very cognizant of this crossover. One of the fastest in the league at that.
Mitchell Volkov goes back to Jennings. Morrison will put it on the floor. 2. Loose ball. Jennings coming up with it. A scramble for it in the lane. And the early foul.
I believe that's going to be on Pringles. He just reaches in. Look at it here. Jones Jennings, usual hustle inside, and there's a push from behind. He was just a little bit off balance, nothing intentional there.
Full 24 seconds for the Slingers. Morrison off the screen, cans it on the inbound pass.
That's what they need from Morrison. Separation and shots. Straight off the pass, off the screen, doesn't put the ball on the floor.
John Smith, a threat to penetrate. Now Daniels, turnaround, got Jennings off his feet. Wong tapping it straight into the hands of Daniels. Kick out, Wusong on the 3. And the loose ball breaking through is Volkov. And for the lay-in, Slingers scoring in transition.
Nice hustle by Volkov, never giving up on it, bumping shoulders. The ball gets loose, away he goes, left-handed dribble. Streaking down that left side. Good job by Singapore in the early going.
Thomas outlets, Smith corner 3. Good rebound and put back by CD Chris Daniels.
And Daniels navigating the baseline like an expert that time. Fending off both Jennings and Singleton in the process.
Long way long on a scoop and the flush from Rashad Singleton. Slingers make it 6 apiece and we've played 3 minutes.
Indonesia not doing a good job of boxing out on that weak side. They pay the price.
Thomas and nobody on John Smith, who can't knock down the 3. Wow, a blown defensive assignment, and the Slingers catch a big, big break.
Yeah, they're still talking about it right now. I think on the rotation, that's Wong Wei Long's man. Volkov out of position. He's got to cut through on the baseline to come over and help with that weak side.
Rashad Jones-Jennings gave up the dribble. Daniels denies the entry pass. Now he gallops, skip pass, and knocked out by the Slingers. 19 seconds to shoot for Indonesia.
Indonesia very fortuitous that time. Pringle with a late break. The pass was already ahead of them. They had no chance to get it. That white shirt got it with the fingertips, so Indonesia ball.
Wusong all alone in the corner. Warriors patient on offense. Daniels couldn't handle the pass. Indonesia with a couple early turnovers. Morrison goes inside. Clean block by Daniels from behind. Here comes Pringle. Underneath the basket, Smith.
Indonesia looked just a little bit out of sync in their offensive set early on here. Another wide open look. Again, missing it.
Skying for the rebound, Rashad Singleton. And you're right, not as much crispness in the Indonesia offense from what we've seen in previous games. Now Morrison swings to Volkov. Morrison loses his defender, and with 3 seconds on the shot clock, hits a long two.
Great recognition by Morrison. Saw his player stumble past and hit the ground, got the separation. No hesitation at all putting that shot up. Good start for Singapore.
Wing three, in and out for Pringle. Now Morrison. Spin move. Singleton out high. No screen for Wong Wei Long. He backs it out. 6 seconds to shoot. Wong shoveling it. Jennings inside.
Now it's just what we were talking about before. Wong Wei Long dribbling on the perimeter, waiting till there's about 5 seconds left, then getting the ball down to Jones-Jennings. What in the heck is he supposed to do with it with 3 seconds to go? Here it is again. This is what has hurt Singapore throughout this season. Right now, 4 seconds. Now here comes a double team.
We have a timeout on the floor with 4:49 to go in the first. The Singapore Slingers starting out well, lead the Indonesia Warriors 8-6. Back to the indoor stadium in a moment.
He does that.
Welcome back to the indoor stadium. 4:49 to go in the first. The Slingers leading the Indonesia Warriors 8-6 with their playoff backs against the wall. Singapore playing to keep their postseason hopes alive, Chuck Schreiner.
Well, they've looked good except for that last offensive set where Wong Wei Long made a hash of it. So keep the energy up. And if you're a guard, make some cuts off of your offensive set and get some movement. Singapore playing a zone, by the way. It looks like a 2-3. Oh, look at that shot way off the mark. So Singapore doing a good job of pursuit on that possession.
2 changes for Todd Purvis. He brings in Jarek Kanyata and Christian Satepu, who just missed that last field goal attempt. Slingers have it with 4:32 to go in the first. Slingers shooting 40% thus far in the first quarter. That's very high for this team. Singleton inside for the jam.
Yeah, great job by Singleton. Good recognition by the point guard. That was Waylon Wong that time getting to the ball. Just a nod of the head, getting the stop, get the step on Thomas to blaze in there for the easy shots.
Daniels trying to give to Thomas. Gives chase, put a foot on the line. The ref missed it.
Missed the call right in
Play
front of him.
continues. Singapore coming up with it. Jennings now. He protects the ball. Kanyata with the foul. And Jennings is going to the line for a pair.
Yeah, referee missing the call down here. You can see it very clearly. Never mind, Singapore doing a great job in the open court. Nice job by Rashad Jennings to get ahead of his defender. Nice pass just right over his shoulder. The obligatory foul. Don't want to give anything for free.
So Jennings to the line. No easy way to say it. He's a poor free throw shooter.
Yeah, he is.
Has a very awkward release. Watch this ball leave his hand. Now, they actually called that.
Yeah, a flagrant or an intentional
That's
foul.
an unsportsmanlike foul, so 2 shots in possession. And Chuck, with Jennings blowing his free throws, you wonder, did Jared Kanyata learn his lesson?
Yeah.
Here's Wong Wei Long. Outside, launches a 3 and hits!
Utilizing the screen, that's what you're told to do if you're a guard. Nice job by Wong Wei Long. Off the foot, back the other way again. Volkov.
And he's down in the corner. Goes back to Wong Wei Long. But it's the Indonesia Warriors turning the ball over here in the early going. As I say that, Wong gives it up. Pringle now crosses over across the lane. Morrison denying the shot. If you've got a foul, at least make him earn it from the line.
That's right, and that was a smart foul by Morrison. He doesn't have any fouls. It was going to be an easy 2. You can see the other red shirt on the opposite side, so denying a certain basket. Make him earn at the line, as you say, Sean. Good call.
Stan Pringle, former Penn State Nittany Lion, was playing pro ball in the Ukraine before finding his way to Jakarta. And a basketball odyssey for this young man.
Volkov out of the game. Looks like Desmond O was just checked in. So Singapore obviously thinking that they've got something going in the open court. We'll see.
Two makes for Pringle, and the Warriors trail 13-8.
Morrison having a great game for Singapore thus far, Sean, both offensively and defensively.
Todd Purvis bringing Stan Pringle out of the game, inserts Amin Priantono.
Morrison basically dictating the tempo of the game for Singapore.
Little start and stop, and Daniels pulls it off the rim. Satepu squaring. Daniels extending for the rebound. Right down the middle goes Kanyata. Swish.
Great rotation by Indonesia that time, getting the offensive board, immediately spotting up Kanyata, who roosted out to the top of the key.
Desmond O with his first touch. Singleton all by himself.
Well, they'll give him that shot all day long.
Kanyata, skip pass, and a reach-in foul will be called on Philip Morrison.
Yeah,
that's his second.
Yeah, that's 2 on him. Again, trying to take up the spot. Wei Lin Long was not in the position where he was supposed to be again. So a situation where the other guy trying to help the guilty party gets called for the foul. That's happened twice now for Morrison.
2 team fouls on the Slingers with 2:32 to go in the first. 16 seconds to shoot for the Warriors. Daniels squares, releases, and knocks it down on the quick jumper. We're tied at 13. JJ Kabatu now in the game. Oh, kick out. Kabatu, 5 to fire. He releases. Refuses to go down.
Yeah, the same mistake by Singapore. The guards again just dribbling around the perimeter.
Priantono fakes. Goes inside. Steve Thomas now inside. He has it stripped. And it'll be Slingers' ball.
Nice job by Singleton there to control the baseline. Thomas nowhere to go.
1:49 to go in the first. Knotted up at 13 here at the indoor stadium. If you're just tuning in, the Slingers need a win tonight and then a loss by the Sports Rev Thailand Slammers tomorrow night to qualify for the postseason.
Well, quietly, the Warriors have made a little comeback of their own to tie this game. They've done it off of a couple of turnovers and some sketchy offensive sets by the Slingers, who seemingly have lost a little bit of that intensity. They're a better team with Volkov in the game. I know that he needs a blow as well, but really it's another situation where every time that they put in Desmond and Wang Wei Long, they really lose intensity and they lose aggression as well. Again, same thing.
Oh boy, Chris Daniels stepping in front of the Desmond O pass, and Wong forced a foul. That basket is waved off.
No positive movement by the Singapore guards. And it's no accident that as soon as Desmond O came in the game starts changing complexion. So as soon as they can get Volkov back in the action, I think the better for the Slingers.
Neil Bengxiong calling timeout, probably just to settle the Slingers down. They're having all kinds of problems trying to get a pass past Chris Daniels.
Right, exactly. That and again, their guards are just standing targets out on the perimeter. Again, dribbling, but no penetrations. You're going to dribble, penetrate. Don't dribble out on the perimeter and take it down to 7 or 8 seconds and then try and pass it off. Just not enough time. You've got 24 seconds to do something positive. And I'm sure that's what Coach Snow is talking over right now.
Slingers averaging about 45 points in each of their last 2 games. A team in search of offense. And so far, low scoring here in the first quarter, but this pace certainly favors a Slingers team that doesn't like to run.
Yeah, no, they don't like to run. They like to get it up in the half-court set and then drop their 2 big guys, interchange the 4s and 5s.
All right, good to go.
Singleton and Jones-Jennings as much as they possibly can, with Morrison, from the elbow or wherever, taking the open shot when he's got spacing. That's the name of their game.
Priantono, play is stopped as Priantono stepped on the line. He had a good look at the basket, too.
Yeah, he did. Indonesia not playing particularly well. It's just been the Singapore mistakes that have let them get back in the game. Now, as we imagine Volkov back in the action, we'll see if that picks up the energy. Meanwhile, full court press now by Indonesia.
How about a Warriors team with really nothing to play for? And here they are putting on the full court press in the first quarter. Foul at the other end. That's going to be on Sven de Ruyter, who, we must remind you, is Indonesian.
That's right, he is. And you wouldn't know it by looking at him, but he has a Dutch heritage. As everybody knows, the Netherlands heavily involved in Indonesia last century and the century before that as well. More of a positive move that time by Wang Wei Long.
Wang Wei Long with university studies. He has been in and out of this Slingers team all season. Been largely limited to home games here at the indoor stadium.
Well, Singapore again not hitting well from the lines, and the fans starting to get tired of this. We saw one game where they shot 44% from the free throw line.
Wow.
0 for 4.
Kanyata crosses the timeline, gives to Priantono. Good screen from Satepu. Kanyata rotates back outside. Inside, Thomas. Double team comes. Oh, ripped down by Jennings. A hard-earned rebound. And now Volkov going inside. And he just gets leveled.
Nice aggressive move by Volkov. Good things happen when you take the ball to the hole. Watch it again. He slipped more than anything else. They're going to give him the foul, but it looks like he slipped on a wet spot there. He'll go to the line for 2. That could have been called a slip.
In fact, no foul called. So they're giving it to the Warriors. And a full 24 seconds on the shot clock. But like you, I thought that was a foul. Satepu gives it to the Filipino, Jarek Kanyata. Satepu looking to get separation against Kabatu.
Nice job by Kabatu on the defensive end.
3 to fire. Off-balance shot. Thomas with the offensive rebound. And it is very rugged and intense underneath the Slingers basket.
Yeah, Kabatu doing a good job again. Thomas put the ball on the floor, and he was right there with it. Check it out again.
How about this fight inside?
There's Kabatu staying with the play. Got called on the incidental contact, but that's good aggressive play. That's what Coach Nyo was talking about in the huddle of that last time out.
21 seconds on the shot clock. Thomas stepping outside. Kanyata with space. Blocked by Jennings. Slingers ratcheting up the defensive intensity here. No difference between game clock and shot clock. With 12 seconds to go. Wong works against Kanyata. Through a screen, Volkov from outside. 3 ball. Time for Kanyata to get one off. At the buzzer, he scores. That will count. Jarek Kanyata timing his release just right. And the Indonesia Warriors will take a 15-13 lead into the second quarter. We'll have it for you when we come back on Super Sports. Back at the Singapore Indoor Stadium, Michelle Holland, Chuck Schreiner, and Sean Farquhar on hand for this one on Super Sports. The Indonesia Warriors leading the Singapore Slingers 15-13 with a second quarter set to go. Todd Purvis, after demolishing Singapore last week, said, hey, we are looking forward to a spirited game at the Indoor Stadium on Sunday. And that's what he got from the Slingers over the first 10 minutes.
Rough and ready basketball. You're absolutely right, Sean. On the other hand, Singapore coming out very, very ready for this game. Obviously, looked at a lot of video and identified some things that they did not want to happen again. They've done a very good job, especially the guards, getting the ball in quicker. A couple lapses in concentration for Wang Wei-Long. Again, dribbled on the perimeter. But for the most part, they're hustling. They're playing team defense. They've got a 2-3 defense going. And right now, also Indonesia not knocking down their open shots. That's a huge factor.
JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers must win tonight to have any hope of going to the playoffs. They also need help from the Saigon Heat, who must beat the Sports Rev Thailand Slammers tomorrow in Bangkok for Singapore to move into the playoffs.
Very small sample size, but just an example. We talked about Singapore shooting in the 20s for field goal percentage. Tonight, 38%, Sean. That's an improvement.
Loose ball, tracked down by Chris Daniels. Off the miss from Wu Ching-Di, getting his first action. Pringle goes outside. Smith, entry pass to Daniels, who's got a mismatch against Wu. This ball just too hot to handle here.
Nice hustle play by Wu that time. Going down to the floor, saving the ball. Back comes Singapore. So the helping defense, the zone defense, paying off dividends for the Slingers here in the opening stanza, and again here in the second stanza as well. Wu with the ball.
Yeah, Warriors continuing to make life difficult in this Slingers backcourt. It's Pringle back into the game. A shaky first quarter for Stan Pringle. Morrison swings it. Now a good bounce pass inside. And the finish from Jennings, giving an assist to Wu Chingdi.
That's right. We were talking about the guards. They need to do something positive. That's what we were talking about. Immediately get the ball. Don't put the ball on the floor. Look inside. Make something happen.
Knotted up at 15 in a low-scoring affair here at the indoor stadium. And an unsportsmanlike foul has been called on Wu. So that'll be 2 shots and possession. Let's see what happened here.
Well, let's check
Wu,
it out.
yeah, he grabbed his jersey, Chuck. That was blatantly.
Yeah, that was before the screen. He saw the screen coming up, so he wanted to impede the player before the screen could take effect. That's a no-no. Smith missing the first free throw, so it'll be 2 and the ball out of bounds for Indonesia.
John Smith having a solid second season in the ABL. Burst onto the scene a season ago with Saigon. Brought in as an emergency replacement at the start of the season for Indonesia when Stan Pringle went out with the meniscus injury, and has been solid all year long and deserving of a spot in the starting lineup.
It certainly has been. The coach from Saigon didn't really want to let him go. He had no choice. They had to make a roster move with somebody coming off the DL. So it was a numbers game he got caught on, but at the end of the day, he's going to go to the playoffs.
Pringle asking for a screen. Daniels swings, Smith with a foot on the line, and that's a long deuce.
Yes, it is, and again, getting the separation. Wu a little bit slow getting over there. You have to rotate. Singapore slow off the defensive end that
time. This game being played at a pace the Slingers like. Wu goes inside, and the tap. Jennings can't get it to go on the putback. Now Pringle on the wing for Indonesia.
Got an open man on the other side.
Oh, Chris Daniels with the soft hands inside for the finish.
You can see him trailing. Volkov had already rushed past him, so he was all alone. Little hesitation step. Nice job.
Warriors with their biggest lead at 20-15. Off the foot of Morrison, it rattles around. Pringle, with no one in sight, glides in for the layup. And Yo Beng Xiong has seen enough with 7:47 to go in the second. He calls timeout. The Indonesia Warriors up 22-15. You're watching the ABL on Super Sports. .48 to go here in the first half. The Indonesia Warriors, with nothing to play for, up 22-15 over the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers, fighting for a spot in the postseason. And here is Wong Wei Long, screened by Volkov. Volkov on the left side. Wusong is on him. Singleton now outside. Back to Singleton. 7 to fire. Volkov outlets. Morrison will have to hurry with a tough shot. Hits the 18-footer.
Again, Singapore, the outside guards leaving it way, way too late. Luckily, some separation, allowing Morrison to get a shot off. Before that, 3 turnovers in the last 4 possessions for Singapore.
Daniels, a dangerous player, gives to Pringle. Pringle between the legs and through, and pulled off the rim by Jennings.
Great crossover move that time by Pringle, just mesmerizing his defender.
Slingers with the ball, down by 5. Despite the deficit, this is the best we have seen the Slingers play in some time. Jennings from outside, loose ball, and Thomas clears glass.
Again, leaving it very, very late, 22 seconds. Look at the lead pass.
Beautiful finish, and an assist to John Smith.
Yeah, Jennings getting caught in no man's land this time, going baseline on him. He wasn't deep enough. And again, Singapore on offense not making any cuts whatsoever. Guys standing around.
Wong, off-balance shot. Singleton extends. Fresh 24 for the Slingers.
Just a lot of standing around. Finally, Morrison makes a cut, goes baseline, back the other way.
Wong trying to create, hits Jennings inside. And Jennings just gives up so much height to Steve Thomas that he runs into a wall.
Yeah, Thomas, good defensive spot for him there.
And then gets Singleton off his feet. Foul, oh my, and it goes through and one for Steve Thomas.
Steve Thomas, good things happen when you stay aggressive. Watch it again, here he is. He got position, that gives you a chance. So he throws up a prayer, and sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't.
That was tapped actually by Singleton. So the foul and Thomas at the line. When he entered the ABL a few seasons ago playing for the Philippine Patriots, Thomas was a very shaky free throw shooter. He has improved on that and converts the three-point play. And with that, the Indonesia Warriors go up by 10.
Same old stuff for Singapore, just not enough imagination on offense. A little bit better movement this time, but look, just being chased around. Nothing positive, getting the ball stolen away again.
Warriors in the open floor once more. Mario Wasong pulls it out. Daniels wants to bang with Jennings on the fadeaway. It's an air ball. And the Slingers get it back. But the Warriors just so much more active on the offensive end.
That's right, and defensive end, and that's what's causing Singapore problems tonight. Every time Singapore gets the ball on offense, they get down and start their half-court movement, and just nobody moves. Again, another example of it right now. Why does Wong Wei Long hold the ball for 5 seconds?
Singleton wants to attack the rim. He's fouled on his way to the hoop.
Very predictable offensive patterns for Singapore at the moment. As we watch again, you can see the inevitable double team coming.
Help defender is called for the foul, John Smith. Singleton, the former Florida Southern Moccasin, at the free throw line. And we're still waiting for the Slingers to hit their first free throw.
Yeah, it's been ugly. 0 for 5, I believe.
Still nothing. And the fans have picked up on that here at the indoor stadium.
Well, these are 3 points you're given, and you're losing by 10 points, and half of it you can look at the free throw line. Another 3.
That one by Mario Wasong. And it's a 30-17 lead.
So things starting to bog down for Singapore again on the offensive end.
Wong stops. 1 and out for Singapore. Wasong on a fake, then gives to Pringle. Pringle will pull it out knowing he's got 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, Wasong running the baseline wide open on that left-hand side. Nobody saw him.
Inside, no-look pass. Thomas on a double pump and goes board and cord for a 32-17 Warriors lead.
Yeah, and no weak side help at all. You can see Singleton looking around. Come on, guys.
Kabatu. Singleton has space but realizes that's not a shot. Morrison and Jennings are going to have to put this one up. Oh my goodness. Jennings, it didn't even look like he was going to attempt the shot.
No. Well, it's not really his fault. Again, he gets caught in a situation where he's given the ball with 6 or 7 seconds to go. He's going to draw the double team. Just no creation at all by the guards. And this is what's causing all the problems, Alan. Very frustrating for both Singletons and Jones-Jennings.
To look at Todd Purvis, you wouldn't know he's up 32-17.
Well, his team isn't probably playing as fluid as he would like defensively. They're certainly missing a lot of outside shots. They're getting a little bit better now, but the first quarter, they didn't play particularly well. Starting to pick it up now on the defensive end, however. Singleton with the ball on the low post. Looking in, and again, no cuts towards the basket.
Fadeaway. And he gets the jumper, but that is a tough shot. And the Warriors will live with that.
Sure they will. Yeah, that's just all creativity by Singleton that caused that.
Daniels telling Satepu to move. Wusong gives to Pringle and blocked by Singleton. So Singleton trying to get it done at both ends of the floor for Singapore.
Sort of that telegraph that move. Singleton, easy block for him. So 7 on the shot clock now for the Warriors. See how Singapore matches up on this inbounds. I see 1-2 mismatches already. You can look at Desmond O trying to work on Thomas. That's not going to work, so look for him to go to the basket. Let's see where the pick is going to be thrown on this left-hand side. You can almost see it developing right now. Desmond O already talking.
Wusong to inbound. They release Pringle. Pringle gives, and Daniels, well executed, but unable to finish. So the Slingers have it, trailing by 13, 2:40 to go. Inside, the flush, and going to the line is Singleton for an and one.
Nice job by Singleton, just turning, getting the ball, and just making a positive move. Something will happen. Nothing fancy, just the half move on the double team, knowing who you've got on your inside that you can take to the hole anytime you want to, and that's exactly what he does.
And goes to the stripe for the three-point play opportunity. Slingers 0 of 6 at the line tonight.
Even you hit, say, 4 of those 6, that makes it a 24-32 game.
That was offline from the start.
My goodness.
Wow, it is contagious for Singapore. Pringle on the elbow, Daniels. Good ball movement here by Indonesia, and they give it away. Morrison and Kabatu, and it's blocked by Pringle. Slingers can't get 2 out of it. At the other end, Kanyata, my goodness. Satepu, and he has it taken away by Kabatu. Here's Morrison, he'll drive, and on the reverse, scores. That's pretty.
Nice job by Morrison. We talk about creativity. That's what Singapore is living and breathing on at the moment. Trying to fire up the troops. Morrison will not be denied. Watch this, just a beautiful move. Weak side help, too slow getting there. Off the glass.
Wearing the Hannibal Lecter, he gets the Slingers within 9. Minute 52 to go in an eventful first half here at the indoor stadium with the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Todd Purvis wants to keep the defensive intensity going into the postseason.
Singapore shooting 38% from outside. That's the best for them in a long, long time.
Off the hands of Daniels. They are catching the Warriors on a night where the defending ABL champs are not at their best.
That's exactly right, Sean. We said that first quarter, you can sort of sniff it out. Second quarter, what's happened in Singapore is turned the ball over way too many times. They've got 8 turnovers.
Warriors continuing to press. Desmond O, they had numbers. Boy, O keeping that ball for a long time.
That's just what we were talking about. Now, 9 on the shot clock. Let's see if Morrison can do something positive.
Spin move. Wow! Flying across the lane. Philip Morrison filling it up for Singapore.
Certainly is. He's keeping him in the game at the moment.
Morrison has 10. Slingers within 7 with 1:05 to go in the first half.
Now you look at those free throws to see how big they are. Last touch by Jones-Jennings, ball retained by the Warriors. But Sean, I mean, they're 0 for 7. Say they're 4 for 7. Changes the complexion of the game. You add 4 to the Singapore tally. That puts them down by only 3.
Pringle at the top. Kabatu on him. He'll take that matchup all day long. Gives to Thomas through 2 defenders. Thomas, offensive rebound, and goes upstairs. Thomas doing the dirty work inside.
Now you can see Desmond O getting a good tongue lashing by Singleton. Watch it again coming over. There's Desmond O.
So Singleton with some earnest words of encouragement.
Well, I think he was actually talking to Desmond O about the offensive end while he had a chance to get his ear. Don't go up there and start dribbling the ball so much again.
It was a little salty. Warriors, a 5 of 6 at the stripe today. Loose ball, and Cañada coming up with it. Jones-Jennings grabbing that left leg. He came down hard a moment ago.
Yeah, I thought I heard a knee crunch up against the ground. He's holding the back of his knee. Not a good sign for the Slingers. They can scarcely afford to lose him at any juncture. He has been called on to play tons of minutes. Let's watch it again.
Let's see what happens.
There he goes up. Ooh.
Oh, and his leg buckled.
Yeah, the knee
Ouch.
just buckled on that other side. So
my goodness. This comes with 43.7 seconds left in the first.
Now we'll see if he can get up under his own power.
Crowd is deathly quiet here at the indoor stadium.
He has been their big guns after Jeffers went out. I mean, where would they be without Jennings? And I really don't think the freeze spray is going to do much to ease this gentleman's problems.
They got some ice out there, but he's curled up and looks very uncomfortable.
Well, almost a fetal position, and that's not a good sign at all. All that's going to do is at least try and make it as painless as possible. If they're going to have to get him off the court, check him out at halftime, and it is the knee. You see the ice pack going on the front part of that knee. He was holding the back part, but
one more look here. Jones-Jennings going up, no one in the vicinity, and watch that left leg.
And you know, he
all the weight coming down that one leg.
Yeah, he didn't really come down on it awkwardly or anything. And let's hope that it's nothing serious, but not a good sign when you have to be helped off the court.
Putting a little bit of weight on it as he comes off the floor.
In part of the season, you hate to see that. You like to see the guy finish off in a healthy mode of movement, but really feeling it right now. We'll have to wait and see what the physios say about him, but it can't be good. And
no, he's in a lot of pain right now. Delvin Go will replace Rashad Jones-Jennings, which is a big drop-off in terms of height and rebounding.
Well, in general, overall talent.
Stan Pringle in traffic, and he is called for steps.
Yeah, Pringle tried to knife his way through about 3 defenders there. Usually that's not a good idea. Usually it takes more than 2 steps to do it. Full court pressure by Indonesia.
Here's Desmond O with 27 seconds to go. Morrison inside. Go. And pulled off the rim by Daniels. Wow, no foul called. Oh, pops up with it. The shot clock is off.
6 seconds left. Morrison try and get some separation.
And there the crossover. He'll put it up. There's the foul. So Morrison and Cañada is furious because there was no foul called a moment ago.
That's right. And if I'm Cañada, I want to see that again because that looks suspiciously like a bailout right there. Morrison won't complain about it. He'll go the line, and will he get 2 or 3? That's the only question. We get a chance to look at it again.
No. First, it looks like they're saying that O was in the legal guarding position, so play continued, and then Cañada fouling Morrison.
0 for 8 now. Can you believe it? We're going back to...
I'm sure the Slingers, Chuck, would like to check the rim down at that end of the floor.
Yeah.
It has not been kind to Singapore.
Remember, Jones-Jennings might well have...
We have a free throw!
One of 9. Whoa. Pop the cork on the champagne, so Slingers trailing by 7, which is not bad for them.
Philip Morrison with 11 points in that first half. And the Slingers within 7, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. For the Indonesia Warriors, 8 points for Chris Daniels.
And looking at Rashid Jones-Jennings, it looks like he's walking it off a little bit, so not as bad as it could have been, Sean.
And that could be good news for the Singapore Slingers in the first half. Let's go over to Michelle Holland, who's standing by with Todd Purvis.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, Coach Purvis, you knew they were going to be hungry for it. Any surprises at this point?
No, they're playing extremely hard. We've turned the ball over far too many times, and so we'll have to regroup for the second half. But I expected the Slingers to come out and play extremely hard. They're well coached, and I think we'll be in for a very tight game in the second half.
You've got your second spot secured for the playoffs. Is there a different mindset at all this evening going into today's game?
Absolutely not. We're trying to win every game we step on the floor and preparing for the playoffs. So certainly we're giving it a full effort tonight.
Now you're about to head on into that changing room. What's going to be your talk this halftime?
I'm going to quietly talk about turnovers and see if we can get that right.
All right, great. Thank you very much for joining us, Coach.
The word quietly used rather loosely. When we return, first half highlights. You're watching the ABL on Supersports. We are back at the Singapore Indoor Stadium at the half. Indonesia Warriors leading the Singapore Slingers 33-26. Youth here at the Indoor Stadium playing a 7-a-side game, refereed by the Slingers' own Kyle Jeffers. Good initiative here by the Singapore Sports Council, who have been a huge supporter of the Slingers all season. And for more on what's going on court, let's send it over to our reporter, Michelle Holland.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, I'm here with Mr. Lim Teck Yin, the CEO of the Singapore Sports Council. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about more of an incentive to do with the council. It's called the Sport Cares Foundation. Mr. Lim, tell us a little bit more about the foundation.
Well, the Sport Cares is both a movement and a foundation. It's one of the key initiatives under our Master Plan for Sport Vision 2030. And it hopes to use sport as a force for social good in Singapore, bringing different partners in Sporting Singapore together to work with partners who can help improve lives of many people.
What do you think it is about sport in particular that can help you?
Well, I think sport is a very powerful force. It drives the emotion. It's an expression of the human spirit. With sport, you learn discipline, you learn teamwork, you learn that when you fail, you pick up yourself and you try again. And you keep trying because you just want to outdo yourself.
Now, there's a game going on behind us with some of the kids who belong to the foundation. Can you tell us how the partnership came about with the Singapore Slingers?
Well, we were very fortunate to have the Singapore Slingers conduct a basketball workshop under Sport Cares with the Tanah Merah Prison School. What you see here are some of the ex-offenders who have been released from Tanah Merah, and they're out there trying to earn a living, getting back on their own 2 feet, and continuing to play basketball with the help of the Singapore Slingers.
And Kyle Jeffers in particular, is that correct?
That's right. We're very thankful for Kyle because he's a towering figure that's been inspiring these boys to live better.
Well, we've been watching some of them have some serious skills. Back to you, Sean. Thanks.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Kyle Jeffers, Chuck, swallowing his whistle, refusing to call anything in the 7-a-side game.
Yeah, let them play. 7-a-side, that's a new twist on basketball, but you got to start somewhere, and they're filling it up, Sean.
All right, let's talk about the Warriors and Slingers. The Slingers needing a win tonight to have any hope of qualifying for the postseason. They need some help from the Saigon Heat, who play the Sports Rev Thailand Slammers tomorrow night. In the first half, the Slingers brought the defensive intensity, and they've proven to be a handful for Indonesia.
They played them very, very tough at the beginning. Stan Pringle was the guy that they had to stop, and they showed that they could do that in the first quarter. Remember, Indonesia only led by 2 coming out of that. Let's look at Stan Pringle right now, coming as advertised. Sean, looking at that little move of his there. There he is on the right side of the wing, looking inside. Gets the screen, pops it up from Threesville. No problem at all. Pringle with 8 first quarter points, or first half points.
Yeah, 8 overall, and really not his best 20 minutes of basketball. Meanwhile, Chris Daniels, what an effect he has on this Warriors team, particularly on the defensive end, always getting a hand in. And here we see him on the offensive glass, just dominating.
Yeah, slender body, but he's able to get it done. Slithering moves, I would like to say, and he gets it done on the offensive end, as you said, but on the defensive end as well. Blocking from behind, what a move. That was an all-star block right there. There he is getting the ball in traffic, going straight past Volkov for an easy 2.
For Chris Daniels, in that first half, he has 8 points, shooting 4 of 7. Very good for a big man. And the Indonesia Warriors up by 7, a team that is locked into the number 2 spot in the postseason. They will host the Westport Malaysia Dragons in the first round of the playoffs. For the Slingers, they must win today, getting a big lift from Philip Morrison in this one.
Every time the Slingers needed some offense, Morrison gave it to him. Some very tough, low percentage shots, unless the ball was in his hand. Here is a flush, a putback by Singleton off the assist by Morrison. Here he is again, hitting Singleton as the defense comes up to meet him. In trouble here. Singleton again. Nice job by Singleton in the first half, getting the ball down low again, and the flush and the foul.
And Singleton, a guy that has struggled offensively this season. But what can you say about Philip Morrison hitting those open jumpers and just badly needed offense for Singapore?
Well, when Indonesia started to take off, remember, they led Singapore by 12, 13 points, and then Morrison took the team on his shoulders, hitting a long 3 there. Here with the blow-by on that left-hand side from the elbow. Nice shot again, getting some separation. And here he is in the open court. Look at this little spin move underneath off the glass. Another 2 from Morrison. There's the spinner inside. So 10 points for Morrison here in the first half.
One of the key plays in the first half, Rashad Jones-Jennings coming down very awkwardly in the lane. We'll let you take another look at this. Here coming off a free throw, and he just collapses in a heap.
Yeah, I looked for some signs that it was something twisted or something, but look at it again. It just looks like, this time of the season you get some overuse things. Hopefully that's all it is, and hopefully Rashad Jones-Jennings will be back as we look at the stats for first half.
He walked off the floor. It's important to say he walked off the floor under his own volition, so possibly could see him in the second half. For the Slingers, as you mentioned, Chuck, 38% field goal percentage, pretty good for this Singapore team. Warriors shooting 44% collectively. Todd Purvis will be happy with that, and they are really clearing the glass. A plus 13 on the boards for Indonesia.
Right, and a plus 4 on the all-important offensive boards as well, and that's a stat that you would figure Singapore would do much better at. 24-11, that's a huge deficit to try and make up.
33-26, the Indonesia Warriors lead. 20 minutes left for the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers to keep their playoff hopes alive. The second half when we return on Super Sports. We welcome you once again to the Singapore Indoor Stadium. JobStreet.com, Singapore Slingers trailing the Indonesia Warriors 33-26 20 minutes left for Singapore to keep their playoff hopes alive. Chuck Schreiner, Michelle Holland, and Sean Farquhar on hand for this one. Coming out for Singapore to begin the second half. Wong Wei Long, Mitch Volkov, Philip Morrison, Delvin Go in place of Rashad Jennings, and Rashad Singleton. For Indonesia, up 33-26. It's Stan Pringle, John Smith, Mario Wasong, Steve Thomas, and Chris Daniels, the 5 guys who started this game. And over on the bench, no sign of Rashad Jones-Jennings, who was injured in that first half, Chuck.
Yeah, I would imagine he's on his way to the emergency room now. Not a lot they can do with him here. There are several hospitals right around, so I wouldn't expect to see Rashad Jones-Jennings back in this game. That's a pity for Singapore because they really, really need him down the stretch.
And we will try to get an update on the status of Rashad Jones-Jennings before the end of this game. There is Wong Wei Long at the top. So the Slingers now, you would think, would be going more outside. As I say that, Morrison along the baseline outside. Wong on the triple. Now he's fouled by Stan Pringle. So if it was in the act, that's 3 shots for Wong Wei Long.
Yeah, I think it's going to be late call by the official. So opportunity here. Let's check it out again. There he is with the hand. Oh my goodness, what a silly foul.
Pringle has 2 fouls.
Singapore shooting 1 of 10 from the line now, Sean. Mini celebration when Morrison hit the first free throw for Singapore.
Wow.
1 for 11.
Here is a guard, Wong Wei Long, who is now 0 of 4 at the free throw line.
So a lot of tension on offense will have to come. 0 of 3 will have to go to Singleton now. Of course, Indonesia will be cognizant of that.
And changing ends does nothing for Singapore at the free throw line.
Nice job by Singleton on the defensive end. Thomas going right at him. Singleton taking every move, step for step. There it is again. Thomas trying to get Singleton off his feet.
So John Smith to inbound with 8 seconds on the shot clock. And Pringle in traffic. Go in position for the rebound. Now Volkov, open floor, reverses. A failure to finish from Mitchell Volkov.
Yeah, listen, that's shots
Daniels,
hard to miss.
that's a good pass from Mario Wasong. And the reach-in foul.
Might have been by Volkov, I believe.
Actually, it's Philip Morrison with the foul.
So that's 3 on Morrison, and they can scarcely afford to be without him, especially with Jones-Jennings out of the game.
And we have learned that Rashad Jones-Jennings says he is fine, and he's down the corner of the bench. There he is. Jennings stretching that leg, and apparently he will return to the game, which is great news for Singapore.
Well, let's hope so if he's healthy.
Daniels hits the free throw. Warriors up 8. Jennings knows the importance of this game. Last game of the regular season for both clubs. Indonesia already qualifying as the number 2 team in defense of their ABL title. Delvin Go with a spin move and goes awkwardly off the glass. Quick outlet from Thomas to Wasong. Wasong attacks the rack and earns 2 at the line. And Jennings and Niobeng Song will send him to the scorer's table.
Jennings still limping, so I don't know what we're going to get out of him at either end, but more of a presence probably when he's hurt than Delvin Go. No disrespect to Go, but at least he can post down and get some rebounds for Singapore. He's not going to be that mobile.
Mario Wasong this season, a shade under 40% from three-point territory. Nobody jacking up as many three-pointers as Mario Wasong in the 2013 ABL season. (35-26) Warriors lead. Volkov to Wong. Into the lane, Singleton, and Steve Thomas stopped Singleton from getting an easy lay-in.
Yeah, nice first step, though, by Singleton, doing what he needed to do. Watch it again. There's Thomas sticking in with the hand.
Thomas's second foul.
Thomas turns to Rashid Jones-Jennings, says, "Are you okay?" Jones-Jennings just nods his head. Tough for these guys. You know, they're basketball nomads, Sean. After this season, no telling where they're going to be going. The Middle East. Japan's just recently finished their season, so it won't be there. But they're on a little circuit of their own.
1 of 14 for Singapore at the free throw line. Thought you'd want to know.
Yeah. I was
Daniels.
trying to change the subject.
Wild pass to Pringle. He scampers into the lane and scores with a Dairy Queen swirl.
First step made all the difference that time. Does a good job shielding the ball with that left shoulder.
Jennings gives to Volkov. Wu can't get separation. Good pass though to Singleton, and he's in for the jam.
Well, that's a nice mismatch they've got on number 9 Daniels. Check it out. Well, we're not going to see it again, but Singleton much too beefy for Daniels to handle in that position.
7:10 to go in the third. Here's Wasong Smith with a foot on the line. Jennings right there, and he is really laboring to get up the floor.
He's limping.
Wu shovels it. Singleton fade away, and he is starting to heat up.
Yeah, Singleton picking up the slack. Nice job. He scored the last 3 baskets now for Singapore.
Cuts the Warriors' lead to 7 with 6:38 to play in the third quarter.
You know, just the fact that Jones-Jennings is in the lineup means that you have to, if you're the Warriors, you've got to spend a guy guarding him.
Thomas
team.
muscling inside. Boy, he is just an aircraft carrier down low.
Yeah. 2 guys on his back there. Whistle on the other side. And Jones-Jennings has seen enough. He's going to go out.
Yeah, it was a very game effort, but he was essentially playing on one leg.
Well, you know, you're looking at a guy that probably at the very least has some strained ligaments in that knee. You don't want to make things even worse by staying in.
Can't hit the runner. Long way long. Kind of funny. Long way long. Grappling for the ball, and Thomas just gives him a love tap on the butt.
Yeah. Looking over him, he's definitely not at eye height, that's for sure. Long way long will go to the bench. He has a 1-3, but to be honest, Sean, he's been a liability on defense and on offense, at least tonight. No disrespect.
So Chuck with a frank assessment of long way long, and you are right. You know, been in and out of the lineup, and it has affected his play. Daniels goes outside for Mario Wasong. Wasong off balance as he released, loose ball. Morrison comes up with it. He tries to create inside. Delvin Go comes up with it. Great rebounding. Inside. Oh boy! Lim Sheng Yu with the drive and score.
Great move by Wu. Good job by Delvin Go to keep it alive for the Slingers. They're going to need more of that.
Slingers are running plays for Lim Sheng Yu. Daniels lost his footing. Remains in the hands of the Warriors with 6 seconds to fire.
Yeah, great defensive effort by the Slingers that they're in. 2 times in a row. Watch it again. Very, very active, stepping into the lane. This is something that they weren't doing the first half.
Pringle getting a little ambitious with the crossover. Throws it to Morrison. He's got Daniels on him, and Daniels lets Morrison score.
Indonesia's going to have to call a timeout, 39-34. They're doing this without Rashid Jones-Jennings, Sean. Very inspired effort by the Slingers.
Win or go home, the mantra for the Singapore Slingers. Philip Morrison, Rashad Singleton leading the comeback. They're down by 5 as we step away. Singapore Indoor Stadium fans watching the Slingers attempting to come back here. 39-34 as we get you back. There you see Rashad Jones-Jennings, their number 1 low post threat, out of the game seemingly for the rest of this one. A bad left knee on a very terrible fall. And yet the Slingers more than hanging around here midway through this third quarter.
Absolutely, being a little bit more imaginative on the offensive end. Very impressed by Desmond Go.
Daniels, quick pass to Thomas, and a whistle. I believe the foul was on the floor. That's Delvin Go's first foul, so we see it again.
Go very active on the defensive end this time. Getting in and mixing it up. He doesn't have a lot of versatility, but if he moves his feet, good things can happen. That's what he's done the last couple of times.
5 seconds to fire. Excuse me, Chuck. Pringle. Daniel snatching the offensive board. Knocked out by Singleton. And he has been a goaltender here underneath the rack. Morrison, a little stutter start. Rainbow jumper, little ball for Morrison. He has 15 and the Slingers are within 3.
First it was Singleton, now Morrison with some assists by the local kids here in the third quarter. Inspired stuff by Singapore.
Wusong releases, wing 3, no good. Daniels there for the putback.
Good job by Daniels.
Sorry, Chuck. Rashad Singleton can't cover both CD and Steve Thomas.
That's right, and I'm surprised that Indonesia isn't more cognizant of that fact on the offensive end. Just dip it down there to one of the big guys. Somebody's got to be open.
Lim trying to hit the runner. Smith barreling up the floor. Wusong, skip pass, Pringle. Daniels, and then Steve Thomas in for the one-handed flush.
Just what we were talking about, they've got options down low. You can see Singleton having to go off Thomas to help out with Daniels on the other side, getting the ball to Thomas for the easy deuce.
Singleton asking for some movement from his fellow Slingers. Morrison playing a two-man game with Singleton. They go outside. Desmond O with a brick. And then Mario Wusong in a foot race. And that will be Warriors ball.
Great hustle by Morrison down at the other end. Now he's down. Let's hope he's not hurt.
This is a track meet right here.
Yeah, it certainly is. Morrison all over the place, and there he is getting caught up with the cables down at that other end. So he should be all right.
Which is more than we can say for the photographer.
And his equipment.
I'm sure Morrison thinking, hey, I got the face guard. Go right in. Yeah. 2:52 remaining in the third, 43-36. 20 seconds on the shot clock for the defending ABL champions. Thomas swings it. Daniels can't finish.
Nice job by Morrison to create havoc underneath there.
Morrison over for Singleton. JJ Kabatu gives Morrison baseline. Floater will go. Wow, Morrison, electric. He has 17.
All he needs is a little bit of separation. He knows he's in the zone, so he's going to create.
Jarek Kanyata gets the feed from Thomas, and Kanyata, boy, Jarek Kanyata on any other team in the league, barring the San Miguel Beermen, would be a starter.
Unsung guy on the court, that's for sure. We were talking about him at the break. Quick first step.
And you know, he's 3 of 5. He doesn't take poor shots. Morrison can't hit Kabatu on the side.
Well, he was expecting Kabatu to pop out like he normally does. Kabatu, uncharacteristically for him, made a cut towards the basket. Surprise, surprise.
Kabatu 0 of 1 today. Kanyata on the other side. He goes baseline. Tapped by Singleton. Kabatu comes up with it. Pringle knocks that out of bounds. Slingers will have it on the side. Officially 23 seconds on the shot clock.
Nice job by Pringle in the open court. Had to make a quick decision, stay with the ball handler or go off to the intended receiver. He makes the right choice. Saves 2 points for the Warriors. Must be excruciating for Jones Jennings to sit there knowing that his presence in the lineup does make a difference. Can't do anything now but watch.
Singleton. One bounce. And Daniels got a hand on the arm of Rashad Singleton. So Singleton, a pro's pro, will go to the line.
Absolutely. He knew he was going to attract attention. Look at this double team, inevitably. Goes up, takes the contact, goes to the line. And remember, this is where Singapore has been horrible tonight. 1 of 14,
that's
7%.
That's 7%. My goodness.
1 of 15. You know, they're down by 7 points.
They are trying to make the free throws.
Yes, I think we're not in bizarro land. Good point by our producer. I mean, you make half those free throws, Sean, and we're leveled up here. So 13%, 2 of 16 from the line.
Minute 2 to go. Warriors with the ball and the 6-point lead. Thomas will put it up himself. Kabatu with the rebound. Kabatu in rhythm. Slingers 1 and out. Stan Pringle going coast to coast. Volleyball to Kanyata. Satepu. And Kanyata with a hand up saying, let's slow down.
Yeah, smart move by Kanyata to reset. He saw the pressure 24.
Inside.
And Go holding on underneath number 23 for Singapore. Had his hands wrapped around him. Slow dance time, watch this.
Yeah, he's doing all he can to contain Steve Thomas, but like a fly in a water buffalo, that's not going to work.
Like throwing a spitball at a battleship. A lot of other analogies. Some we can talk about, some best left quiet.
Thomas. Two misses, and then no one's sealing off Chris Daniels. There's where you miss Rashad Jones-Jennings. He goes in off the missed free throw and gets the deuce.
Well, Desmond Go turns sideways. Delvin Go, excuse me.
Morrison stops. Satepu gets the loose ball, and that brings the third quarter to a close. Doing it without Rashad Jones-Jennings, the Singapore Slingers trail the Indonesia Warriors 47-39. Could it be just 10 minutes remain in the Slingers season? We'll find out when we return on Super Sports. We hope you're enjoying Super Sports live presentation of the ABL coming to you from the Singapore Indoor Stadium. Sean Farquhar along with Chuck Schreiner, the Indonesia Warriors going into the fourth quarter, leading the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers 47-39. The scenario, anything but rosy for Singapore, Chuck. They're down to the defending ABL champions. Playoff hopes on the line, and Rashad Jones-Jennings, arguably their best player, out of the game with a knee injury.
Well, they're having to do it with smoke and mirrors at the moment. The combination of Morrison and Singleton trying to get it done. Kabatu with a little bit of an assist, but they're going to have to find some ways to get more offense out of some more players, as usual for the Slingers. And this is their whole season, the last 10 minutes, to see what they can do.
Slingers need a win, and coupled with a Sports Rev Thailand Slammers loss, they play the Saigon Heat in 24 hours in Bangkok. A loss for the Slingers eliminates any possibility of a run into the postseason, and the Slammers would go. Christian Satepu buries the triple.
Yeah, and they've got to get somebody out on the perimeter. I know they're cognizant of what these big guys can do down low, but they can shoot from outside too. Remember, Indonesia's missed a lot of outside shots tonight. They are due for an explosion.
Morrison gives Singleton, and he drains it from just inside the three-point arc.
That's answering, and that's what you need to do. Keep it down below double-digit leads and see who gets the hot hand if you're Singapore. Play tough Team D.
Daniels taps to Kanyata. Satepu swinging it. No one on Stan Pringle. And while Stan Pringle has been on the ball throughout most of this game, it has been far from his best effort.
Yeah.
Daniels against Kabatu, kick out. Morrison steps in front of it. And Kanyata shovels it. That's a live ball.
Nice job by Kanyata to save two that time for Indonesia.
Singleton waits for Thomas to go by, jams it down, and gets this crowd fired up.
Great recognition by Singleton. Good hustle all the way on the defensive end by Singapore.
7 is as close as the Slingers have been in quite some time.
Now Indonesia's turn to be stagnant on offense.
Daniels drives, and the foul is from behind. Looks like they're going to get Mitchell Fulkoff. Check that, Wong Wei Long.
Watching it again, you could see before that Kabuto really hashing it up with them down low. I mean, everything they can do to disrupt the rhythm of the low post players of the Warriors, who are doing a great job down low, especially Thomas.
Chris Daniels and Steve Thomas were collegiate teammates at the University of Georgia. Steve Thomas would go on to finish his collegiate career at Middle Tennessee State. Slingers have it, trailing by 7. Long way long. He has struggled offensively in this game.
Now he needs to get rid of the ball instead of standing there holding it. Bad things happen, and it happens again.
Singleton had no idea that pass was coming. Cañada at the other end. This guy is a flyer.
Yeah.
I mean, Cañada just has a gear that the Slingers can't find. Kabatu pass inside. Singleton disrupted by Cañada, but got enough of it that Singleton will have to get 2 from the line.
That's right. Good move by Cañada. As soon as that ball was on the floor, he was all over it. Might as well take the chance. Singapore isn't shooting well from the line anyway. Look at the replay of it. As soon as the ball goes on the floor, Cañada all over it.
Timeout taken by the Indonesia Warriors. They have the 52-43 lead. The finish of the fourth quarter when we return after this. Rashad Jones-Jennings in obvious discomfort over on the bench. As we return to the live action, Jennings out of this game with a knee injury. He suffered it coming down off of a missed free throw. And the Slingers get a lot smaller without him in the lineup, and they've got 7:22 left to take the lead in this game, win it, to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Wide open look from outside by Cañada.
Singleton with the rebound. Morrison gets it up to Kabatu. He tries to create and scores on a hook shot.
Nice job, Thomas refusing to come out away from Singleton. So free look for Kabatu, who doesn't disappoint on that particular play.
Indonesia Warriors playoff spot is set. They will host the Westport Malaysia Dragons. But Todd Purvis wants to use this game as a launching pad for the postseason. Stan Pringle scoring in traffic.
Never gave up on the ball, had the first shot blocked, stayed with it, back up. No boxing out by the Slingers.
That's right, no boxing out. Gets a lot tougher without Jennings on the floor. And that gives Indonesia second chance scoring opportunity. JJ Kabatu driving, and he scored twice in succession.
Yeah, he has. He's the mystery man on this Singapore offense. The number 3's having to play. So he's going to get a lot of easy looks to the basket, and so far he's taken advantage of it.
Can the Slingers get a stop? Stan Pringle putting it on the floor, gives to Daniels, and he goes inside for a quick floater.
3 white jerseys converge on Pringle, so somebody's got to be open, and Pringle makes no mistake finding the open man.
Desmond O passes up on an open 3. Singleton on the fadeaway, no good. Cañada looking for the crossover, and Desmond O gathered loose ball and was immediately clipped. So he's fouled, and they'll bring it up the floor.
Yeah, Cañada trying to do a little bit too much on that trip up the court, and need to give it off to Pringle. I think that's what Pringle's telling him right now. We don't need dribble penetration. And a timeout, I think, by Indonesia. As I think Coach Purvis is going to talk about that same thing that we were saying right now. Singapore on the other side of the ball. Sean, they just got to keep on doing what they're doing. put some pressure on the ball and make right decisions. See what happens.
Slingers actually with the higher shooting percentage in this, 142% to the Warriors, 41%, but undone at the free throw line in a game where they trail by 9 points. They have missed, get this, 14 free throws. That's abysmal.
That's the difference in the game right there. That and the rebounding, as we saw, big differential there. 7 in the offensive boards as well. So rebounding and free throws, Judy, there's your game right there.
In fact, the rebounds you talked about, the Warriors out-rebounding the Slingers, 43-21. You're a plus 22 on the boards. There's no way you should lose this game.
Yeah, because of that, another funny statistics we can throw at you. The Warriors, in fact, have turned the ball over 16 times to 11 for the Slingers. It doesn't matter when you shoot 13% from the line and get out-rebounded 2-1.
So Rashad Singleton today with 17 points, 17 also for Philip Morrison, but then a huge drop-off. JJ Kabatu, the next highest guy for the Slingers with 4 points. Morrison has the ball now for Desmond O, who's looking for his first points today. Kabatu from the free throw line, pulled down by Daniels. Kanyata, and in full stride. Oh, the block! Lim Sheng Yu with the denial on Stan Pringle. Wow. So the Slingers get the stop they need.
Need some cuts to the basket. There goes Desmond. Oh, he's fouled, yes.
Kanyata, boy, he can't catch a break today from the officials. Kanyata with his third. Check that, 4 fouls now on Kanyata.
The foul from behind on Desmond O. Good positive move inside by Desmond O. And that's what they're going to have to do a little bit more often. Singapore, the guards have to stay active, have to keep moving.
Lim Sheng Yu asking for it. Daniels skies for the rebound.
Got the wide open shot. You got to take that shot, but at the same token, you've got to knock it down.
John Smith. Skip pass. Thomas. Spin move. Nowhere close. Phil Morrison gets it to Singleton. He jams it home.
Beautiful pass by Morrison over the top. Singleton like a football receiver, catching it in stride and just dunking it. Singapore still in this game, Sean.
They go into a 2-3 zone. Down 7. Daniels tries to hit from outside. Wonder why the Warriors aren't trying to penetrate more against an undermanned Slingers team, and Morrison, an off-balance jumper.
Yeah, unwise attempt there by Morrison. He had plenty of time. You don't need all 7 points right now. Get some stops, some clever shots, some good setups on the offensive end. That's the way to get back in the game.
Pringle outlets to John Smith. Smith goes baseline. Here's Kanyata from the top. What a dagger that is from Jared Kanyata, and the Slingers call a timeout as the Warriors extend their lead to 10.
Yeah, great rotation off their offensive set. Kanyata flicking over from the right to the left, setting up, foot on the line, got the ball, knew exactly what he was going to do with it as soon as he got the ball. Easy 3 for him.
John Smith there looking off the defense. Everyone thought he was going to Pringle. Instead, he sends it to Jared Kanyata. So Todd Purvis is today showing how many options he has on offense heading into the playoffs. Let's see if we can hear from him.
Execute right now. Take care of the ball. It's on Morrison. He's going to try and shoot the ball. Communicate on your switches because they're going to try and run guard to guard and they get 3-point shots. You've got to be able to communicate and know who you've got.
The Indonesia Warriors, so much emphasis on team defense.
That's right. 2-pronged strategy by Coach Purvis. The tail end of this game, take care of the ball, and who's got Morrison?
Morrison today, 8 of 18, 44%. A lot of those outside shots, so not a bad percentage at all for Philip Morrison. Rashad Singleton with 19 points, 14 rebounds.
5-second call in a moment.
Knocked out by Smith.
Now then, but how much time are they going to have to get the ball past half court? Remember, you've got 8 seconds. I think they used about 7.5 of those right then, so they're going to have to do it in one pass.
And that's what Kabatu is explaining to his teammates. Now, Mario Wasong wants to come into the game.
Kenyatta will step out. 4 fouls on him. Easy opportunity to pick up that 5th foul. They don't want to do that just yet. They might need him down the stretch.
Lim and Morrison in stride.
Just beat it.
Very important possession here for the Slingers, down 10. Lim, little ball fake. Singleton passes up on it. Desmond not a threat to score.
5 on the shot clock.
Here's Kabatu, spin move. He puts off an off-balance shot. No rim, so a shot clock violation. And a very poor offensive set for Singapore at a most critical time.
That's right. Now clock management time for Pringle and company down at the other end. No silly shots. Use up all the time you need.
Daniels hitting John Smith, and the putback there for Steve Thomas. And that makes it a 12-point game, silencing this indoor stadium crowd.
Yeah, and then watch it again. There's Thomas. Look at the follow.
That is
number 12, Kabato, coming in there way too late.
Chuck, that's pinpoint execution on offense from Indonesia.
Indonesia takes a foot off the gas a little bit defensively now. They'll be cognizant of Morrison and Singleton, who will play a 2-man game.
Volkov putting it on the floor. Singleton in a wrestle with Steve Thomas.
Yeah, nice play by Thomas. You know, when you're shooting 2 of 16 from the line, you don't mind making those kind of fouls. Does stop the clock. That's what Singapore would like, but they're going to have to knock down these free throws. In fact, you know, they can point to this. If they lose this game by 6 or 7 points, you know exactly the reason why.
Wow, these trips to the free throw line have been an absolute adventure.
Unbelievable. 12%.
2 of 17. That's horrendous. No way to sugarcoat it.
I don't think I've ever seen it, actually. I don't think I've ever seen a 2 for 18.
They're down in this game by 12 points, and they've missed 16 free throws. Daniels short on the fadeaway. Last touched by Indonesia, and the Slingers will get it back with 2:19.
They're getting out rebounded, Sean, also 49-23. Warriors have 16 O boards to Singapore's 4.
Ouch. Long way long, trying to thread it through. They just can't get a pass by Chris Daniels. I'll say it again. Pringle here working against Wong Wei Long. Tell you what, after tonight, Wong Wei Long will never eat chips out of a can again.
Not Pringles, at least.
1:53 to go in the game.
He'll stick to planners.
Delvin Go comes into the game, and probably the last we have seen of JJ Kabatu. Stan Pringle here against Volkov. Under 2 minutes to play here. Pringle attacks, tapped out by Singleton. Slingers now have to think 3 every time down the floor. Morrison steps inside. Singleton, and he waited so long that Daniels hit him on the way down.
Yeah, unintentional by Daniels. Singleton didn't appreciate it. As one might expect, nobody likes to get wrapped upside the head. Here it comes, right there.
Rashad Singleton today shooting 75%, very impressive. However, he has been the lone low post threat with the absence of Jennings.
But on the other side of the ball, he's 1 of 9 from the line. Make that 2 of 10. So he has 2 of the 3 free throw successful attempts.
And mock applause from the crowd here. Slingers now 4 of 20 at the stripe. Unbelievable.
Full court pressure. A must-stop situation for Singapore. Indonesia will hold the ball.
Wusong with Ung Han Bin on him. Smith. Heads up play by Daniels to knock it off Singleton, but a shot clock violation as the ball didn't catch rim. Yeah, this should be Slingers' ball. The referees will confer. There was not a change of possession.
Still talking about it.
No, hold on. Now they're saying 1 second on the shot clock. So the referee put his finger up. The ball went off Singleton, so 1 second on the shot clock for Indonesia.
So catch and shoot situation.
Exactly. And they don't get one off. So the Slingers have it. They're down 10, 63 seconds remain in their season.
Well, quickly get the ball down to Singleton or Morrison, and if you're a guard, luckily they don't give it. Well, now it's back in the hands of Wong later on. And again,
Wong driving and gives to Singleton. Time elapses. Singleton pads his stats, makes it 61-53.
Indonesia doing the right thing. No point fouling in a situation like this. Game safely under control. If you're Singapore, well, do you foul or not? I don't see any point at this point in the game.
Pringle kicks out. John Smith drive inside and foul on Wong Wei Long.
Well, that's too bad. They had like 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Check that, 14 they're going to say now.
But this one now in the books as a Warriors win. And the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers will miss the postseason again. Sven de Ruyter, who is Indonesian, with the score.
First 2 for him, so everybody getting on the books now.
Wong from outside. And so the Sports Rev Thailand Slammers will go into the playoffs as the number 4 seed. And the Slingers will be watching the playoffs on TV.
Yeah, outside looking in again for Singapore. Very disappointing season for them. They know what they're going to have to work on in the offseason. They're going to have to hopefully retain some of these big guys that have been so successful for them during the course of the season. But, Sean, they absolutely have to get help from the guard position.
15 points for Chris Daniels, 12 for Jarrett Kanyata, Stan Pringle, and Steve Thomas. For the Singapore Slingers, 23 points from Rashad Singleton, 17 from Phil Morrison, 4 of 20 from the free throw line. In a game they lose by 10, they miss 16 free throws. Post-game analysis and interviews when we return on Supersports. We welcome you back to the Singapore Indoor Stadium where the Indonesia Warriors in their final regular season game eliminate the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers from the playoffs with a 63-53 win. Rashad Jones-Jennings injured in this one. Let's go down to our sidelines and Michelle Holland.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, congratulations, Coach. What did you make of your overall performance this evening?
I thought we gave a good effort. We still made some mistakes, some things we got to clean up. We got a little over a week to practice before the playoffs come, but that was in part to the Slingers defense, and they did a lot of good things. I give them a lot of credit.
Now you're going into the playoffs as the defending champions. Is there any added pressure with that?
No, I think there's no added pressure at all. I think we've been there before. We know the type of effort it takes, and I've got a good group of guys in there that are going to give me everything they've got.
And first game you have is against the Westport Malaysia Dragons. What are your thoughts ahead of that?
Extremely athletic, very talented. They get up and down. It's going to be, but come playoff time, it's more about defense. And so as long as we can keep them at a transition, make them play in the half court, we'll see. I think it's going to be a great contest.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the playoffs.
My pleasure.
Philip Morrison with 17 points in the loss for the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers, and just not enough offense for Singapore today, particularly with the loss of Rashad Jones-Jennings. They just couldn't get any rebounds.
That hurt, and you get out-rebounded by, 50 to 25. As you said throughout the game, Sean, you shoot 20% from the line. That's a recipe for disaster. Besides Morrison and Singleton, really, who are you going to turn to without Jones-Jennings? They collapsed on Singleton. A brave effort by those two guys, but really, the guard position has been a nemesis for Singapore right from the get-go. They knew that. They tried to do their best, try to get through the season, hopefully to make the playoffs. It just wasn't to be. They're going to have to improve in those positions next year.
The final analysis will show 7 wins against 15 losses on the season. You take a look at the lack of scoring, 23 for Singleton, 17 for Morrison, and then after that, the next highest guy, Kabatu, with just 4 points. There weren't enough offensive options for Neo Beng Siang and these Singapore Slingers.
Well, I think you make a very good point. Even when everybody is healthy, the options off of their offense, the options that they have, in other words, the different sort of play movements that they have, the different combinations, it just seemed lacking and just uninspiring throughout the season. A team that always just sort of seemed that they were starting off on the wrong foot and had to really play hustle. You've got to give them 110% for effort. They really, really hustled throughout all these games, but just not enough talent, Sean.
Michelle Holland standing by with an obviously disappointed Rashad Singleton.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, Rashad Singleton. Commiserations. What did you make of the overall performance from the Slingers tonight?
Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to come out here and play the game I love. It was an emotional game, tough season, battled with a few injuries and whatnot, but overall, I'm proud of my team. We showed a lot of a fight tonight, especially compared to the last game. So that was our main objective, just to come out with a lot more energy, a lot more passion, and just give the fans a show and let them know that we appreciate it.
You played this team on Friday and you came away with a loss from that game. What were your thoughts coming into tonight's game?
Just to come out with more energy. We came out a little flat last game, and that's not the way we are. We're not a weak team. We're not a non-passionate team. We practice hard. We stick together even when it's tough. So that was our main priority, just to come out here and just show the fans that we are your team and we appreciate you.
Obviously, a lot of disappointment now amongst your teammates and yourself.
Yeah, but overall, we just have to look at the positives. Try to rebuild for next season and hopefully just keep improving.
Thanks for joining us, Rashad.
Difficult for these JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers, particularly with the loss of Rashad Jones-Jennings just before the first half ended.
Yeah, that was a huge blow no matter which way you cut it. He tried bravely to come back, but he was basically on one leg. It looks like he strained some ligaments or something in his knee. You don't want to make that situation worse by coming in and trying to do too much. So I think discretion was a better part of valor. He sat down. It was tough to watch, but Coach Neal is going to have to go back to the drawing board because there's a lot of holes in this lineup, and they're going to have maybe a year or two look back on and see if they can fix some of these things that need to be fixed.
One of those holes, free throw shooting today at the line, 4 of 20. They miss 16 free throws in a game. They lose by 10. Here's Michelle with Neo Beng Siang.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, Coach, you missed around 15 free throws today. How much do you think that could have changed the game for you?
Well, we keep on shooting, so and especially this morning, we have a lot of free throw shooting. So, but in the game itself, I think players giving themselves too much pressure. That's what I feel. When 4 from 20 is really unacceptable on that. But well, it happens sometimes. So quite disappointing. But playing against good teams at the Warriors, I mean, so-called one of the best defending team, I think they deserve it.
Now, you have been criticised in the past as a team that comes out a little bit flat, especially in the first quarter. Not this time. Why was that?
Well, I mean, keep on motivate them, okay, because we already let our fans down for the last 3 games, especially at home. So we need to pump them up. But, well, it really come out differently. Okay, I think it's a warm-up issue, so we need to stick to the warm-up and keep on getting them warm and start of the game fast.
You lost Rashad Jones-Jennings just before half-time. How much of an impact did that have?
Well, definitely a lot because he's the second big in our team, and when he's out there, I mean, Warriors really dominate the inside in the paint. So I think they did a good job on that, and they out-rebound us by 25. That's a lot.
Is he okay? What happened?
Oh, I'm not too sure. I need to check with the trainer, and basically we'll know tomorrow. So hopefully he can recover fast.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us.
So Neo Beng Seong certainly not mincing any words, but opportunities at home, recent losses to the Thailand Slammers, Westport Malaysia Dragons, and then of course today against the Indonesia Warriors. We'll come back and wrap this one up. You're watching the ABL on Supersports. Back here at the Singapore Indoor Stadium where the Indonesia Warriors on the road have just eliminated the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers from the postseason. Statistically, in this one, you look at the Slingers getting very little done from outside. They shoot 43% overall, but the rebounds, Chuck, the big story in this one.
Anytime you get out-rebounded 50 to 25 and then look at the O board, 16 to 4, that bodes for trouble. In other words, you're giving them second, third, and fourth chance opportunities to score, and that's exactly how they did it.
16 missed free throws for the Slingers in a game they lose by 10, and with that, they fall behind the Slammers at the worst possible time, the end of the regular season. So the Sports Rev Thailand Slammers get the fourth and final playoff spot. Warriors will meet the Westport Malaysia Dragons in their playoff matchup, and the San Miguel Beermen will host the Sports Rev Thailand Slammers. That one comes to you from the Philippines. May 23rd, 8 p.m. Hong Kong time, Game 1 of a best-of-5. And then the following day, the Westport Malaysia Dragons on the road against the Indonesia Warriors. Playoff matchups are set. San Miguel Beerman, Red Hot Chuck having won 15 straight.
Yeah, but I wouldn't count out the Thailand team. They look very good against Singapore, and they've been getting their confidence revved up lately. The part of their name also the Rev team. So let's see what they can do. The ball is round. We've seen stranger things happen.
And as Todd Purvis said, the playoffs are all about defense, and he's got his defense clicking headed into the postseason. That will do it. Warriors win at 63-53, and the Singapore Slingers season is over. For Michelle Holland and Chuck Schreiner and our entire Super Sports crew, I'm Sean Fark. We're saying good night from Singapore.
Hey!